In this video, I'll be discussing about handling fear. Now, fear, as we have all experienced in some form or the other, is basically personal in nature. So when you look at and try to understand fear, it is absolutely personal. And we have things like, we can have people who are scared of flying. We can have people who are scared of water. Uh, we can have people who are scared of death, disease, pain. We can also have people who are scared of losing reputation, the personal reputation that they have created for themselves over so many years, and fear of failure. So fear is of various natures, and this fear then manifests itself in an organizational perspective. Now, I have seen CEOs of companies who are not being able to take very obvious decisions about mergers and acquisitions. Now, the organization is sitting with a huge pile of cash, but the CEO is unable to take a decision on where to invest, how to invest. The reason? His earlier M&A experience was very bad, and the company lost a lot of money, and he was severely reprimanded by the board. And the personal reason behind it? He lost reputation once. He doesn't want to lose reputation again. I have seen plant managers saying that they will not take action against the operators because of the fear. Because if the operators just do an immediate strike and a tool's down, then how do they run production? So here there is another kind of fear, and if the production goes down, then what happens? There will be a fear of losing jobs for them. So the fear of losing jobs is basically giving rise to them not tackling operators, and basically then the operators are therefore demanding higher wages and getting away with it, which might, if I'm talking of a situation where it's not right to go on in a manner where the organization loses in the process. Now, you might also have several such organizational fears, which basically are somewhere very deep down in the personal domain, and it's important for an individual who wants to grow in the organizational career and in his own life to get over fear. Unless you get over the fear that is there in your mind, you'll not be able to be successful in doing whatever you are doing currently or doing better in life. As a result of these kind of fear, what happens is that an individual leads a suboptimal life, and an organization generates suboptimal returns. So where is the complexity in this whole thing, and how do you handle fear? The complexity lies because very often people do not agree that they have got a fear, and therefore the organizational decisions get delayed and no one is really knowing what's happening. Let me take an example of a personal example and on how I overcame fear. So as an individual, I was afraid of flying. The reason, of course, the deep reason behind that is a scare of death. That gives rise to a fear of anything which I am not aware of. So fear of swimming, yes, of course, because I don't know swimming, so I don't know how to handle water, so I have got a fear of water, so I have got a fear of swimming. That then comes to fear of drowning and fear of death. Now, I had this fear of flying, and that used to make me very uneasy. Now, due to this uneasiness, I started taking medical advice. I took some medical advice, and doctor recommended some tablets that I should have before I get onto the flight. These gave me a drowsy effect. So to get over this drowsiness, I had to get over it at least took 8 hours to get over this drowsiness. So therefore what I would do is that in case I had a meeting say on Tuesday morning, I would go to a place on Monday evening and rest in a hotel, get over this drowsiness, and then kind of attend the meeting on Tuesday. This let me spend less time with family, and at the same time I used to have higher hotel bills. Reason? Simple. I was unable to handle my fear of flying. Over time, it was very clear to me that I have to handle this fear, because this way was non-productive and I didn't want to go ahead this way as well. So what I did was to handle it totally by overcoming the fear of death in my own way, understanding things better, because we know that, we realize that, or rather I had this deep realization that the time and the date, whichever is decided, it doesn't matter. I will not be existing that day in this form, and so the death would happen. So there's no need for one to overcome to fear death. One always needs to get tuned to this idea of living life rather than fearing death. Now, when I tried to do this, then I also did a lot of learning on flying. I tried to understand what is flying, how safe it is, etc., etc. And when I understood flying better, I also understood that, under normal circumstances, it will be very rare for a flight to have failed. And that gave me confidence, that built my confidence, and I could overcome the fear of flying. Nowadays, I obviously fly on the Tuesday morning for the meeting. I do the whole meeting, and by Tuesday evening, I'm back at my home. It makes me feel much better. I've got much longer time that I spent with my family. So, what are the steps of overcoming fear? I think it is a little philosophical, the steps to overcome fear, but handle fear. But believe me or not, it is philosophical in nature. So, how do you handle fear? First is be true to yourself and identify the real issue, the real fear. Don't try to hide behind the blanket and talk of wishy-washy things. Next is gather information and deal fairly with your fear. Don't just try to overcome it saying that I'll ignore it or something. It will get to you later again. So you have to deal fairly with it. The next is that you have to challenge your fear. Yeah. And once you challenge it, saying that no, I'm not going to have this, and therefore I'm going to fly on the Tuesday morning, and I am going to attend a meeting, and I'm not going to feel like this. That's how you're challenging your fear. And the last is that have faith. Have faith in yourself, your relationships, your families, your people who are dependent on you, people on whom you depend. Have faith in them. This is all an ecosystem which is there for you. So once you have this ecosystem, have faith in that ecosystem, handle several of your fear truly, gather information, challenge it. That's when you are able to handle fear. Now, having handled fear myself, I think that I understand the psychology behind it. To share with you another example, in a factory that I have seen, there is a power plant in a remote corner of a large state in India. And remember, it's a power plant and it's really in a remote corner. Now, as you know, in the remote corner, no good people want to go. So, but when I visited this power plant, I saw that there were a fantastic team was working, right from workmen to operators uh, to supervisors, uh, and then to engineers. All were literally working um, and making the plant productive much beyond the levels that it's supposed to. When I asked the plant manager as to how are you going to, how in this remote place you have got such fantastic talent available with you, who are so motivated and who are performing, who are doing continuous improvements, who have got the least possible turnaround times, who are ensuring that the spares are reaching at the right time, who don't have an overstocking of inventory. Whatever you say, it was there. And that's when the head of the plant, who has been there for nearly 20 years, he told me that, of course, when he came over to take charge of the plant, there was nothing. It was a greenfield plant and no one wanted to go there because of the remoteness. And then he worked, and the first thing he did was to encourage people to contribute to make life better, because all of them were in a bad state out there. The facilities were not there, and they said that fine, let us all work together and make life better. And he created a huge amount of positive energy and did nothing to create fear in the system. So he ensured that everyone positively contributes, and the system has what he called no fear. So if people wanted to experiment, they could experiment. If people wanted to do something, they could do something, till the time it was within the values and the ethics of the company. And with this, when he proceeded in this manner, over time, what we saw was uh, every aspect of that plant did better, whether it be productivity, whether it be lesser inventory, whether it be the stocking of coal, whether it be the workman morale, whether it be the beautification of the plant and its surroundings, whether it be the children of the workmen and how they were doing in normal life. So when you have a situation of no fear, and when as a plant head or as a leader you can create a no fear situation, what you also create is automatically the corollary to that, which is a situation based on hope. Now when you have a no fear and you create a situation based on hope, you have definitely what is known as progress, and no one can then stop this particular progress. So my my thing here is that you must learn as a leader to handle your own fear, because your own fear must not stop the growth of your subordinates, or it must not stop the growth of your organization. You should not lead a suboptimal life. You should not generate suboptimal returns. So know your job, be true, identify your fear, get over it, and ensure that you guide yourself and your team towards great success. Handle the fear, don't be dwarfed by it.